Our title, Shadows of Concord. The wind howled through the desolate streets of Concord, Alaska, as Danny Downfaller Madsen adjusted the dial on his CB radio.
The crackling voice of a woman broke through the static, sending chills down his spine. "Help! We're being overrun! The vampires! They're everywhere!" Danny exchanged a worried glance with his best friend, Troy Alexander, a former M16 agent with a reputation that once rivaled James Bond. The two men had faced countless supernatural threats together, but this was different. The night cycle had just begun, and with 117 days of darkness ahead, the stakes were higher than ever. "Michelle!"
Danny called, turning to his wife, a powerful witch and leader of the Arcadia City Coven. "We need to gather our gear. Concord is in trouble."
"Let's move," Troy added, his voice steady. His wife, Angelina, a former LAPD detective, was already gathering weapons from their arsenal.
"Charlie's coming too," Angelina said, nodding toward the legendary rock star who had risen from the dead, now known as the Blood Ronin. He stood nearby, adjusting the straps on his red and blue superhero suit, his red katanas gleaming in the dim light. "Let's show these bloodsuckers what we're made of," Charlie said, a mischievous grin spreading across his face. "I've got a few tricks up my sleeve." As they loaded up their weapons, Danny with his super strength and Troy with his tactical expertise, the group prepared for the journey ahead. Valentina, Charlie's wife, and the reincarnation of Joan of Arc stood beside him, her eyes fierce with determination. "Remember, these vampires are part of the German vampire clan known as the Rain," Valentina warned. "Their leader, Anton Klaus, is cunning. I thought I had killed him during World War II. "Then we'll finish the job," Danny said, clenching his fists. "Let's go." The drive to Concord was tense, the silence punctuated only by the sound of the engine and the occasional crackle of the radio. As they approached the ghost town, the atmosphere shifted. Shadows danced in the corners of their vision, and the air was thick with an unnatural chill. "Stay sharp," Troy instructed as they parked the vehicle. "We don't know what we're walking into." The streets were eerily quiet, the only sound being the crunch of gravel beneath their boots. "I'll create a distraction," Charlie said, his voice low. "Valentina, you, Troy, and Danny search for survivors. I'll draw them out." "Be careful," Valentina replied, her concern evident. With a nod, Charlie sprinted down the street, his katanas drawn. The moment he stepped into the open, a horde of vampires emerged from the shadows, their eyes glowing with hunger. "Hey, ugly!" Charlie shouted, his voice echoing. "Come and get me!" As the vampires lunged at him, Valentina, Danny, and Troy moved quickly, searching for any signs of life. They stumbled upon a small group of terrified survivors hiding in a dilapidated building. "Listen up," Danny shouted, his voice booming. "We're here to help. Grab whatever you can find and prepare to fight." The survivors, a mix of men and women, looked at each other with fear but slowly began to gather makeshift weapons. Troy took charge, organizing them into a defensive line. Meanwhile, Charlie was a whirlwind of destruction, his jackhammer shotgun blasting through the ranks of vampires. "You picked the wrong town to mess with," he yelled, laughter mingling with the chaos. Valentina's eyes narrowed as she recognized the vampire's fighting style.
"These are Klaus's minions," she said, her voice steady. "We need to find him."
As they fought their way through the streets, Danny and Troy rallied the survivors, their combined strength and leadership igniting a spark of hope. "We can't let them take our home!" Troy shouted, firing his weapon with precision. The tide of battle shifted as Valentina and Danny pushed forward, their powers combining in a dazzling display of magic and strength. But Klaus was still lurking, hidden in the shadows, waiting for the right moment to strike. "Where are you, Klaus?" Valentina called out, her voice echoing through the night. "Face us!" Suddenly Klaus emerged, a sinister smile on his face. "You thought you could kill me, Valentina? I've only just begun." "Not for long," Danny growled, charging at Klaus with Troy by his side. The two men fought with a ferocity born from years of friendship and shared battles. As the fight raged on, Charlie and Valentina continued to dispatch vampires, their movements fluid and deadly. But Klaus was a formidable opponent, his strength matched only by his cunning. "Together!" Troy shouted, and with a synchronized effort, he and Danny launched a final assault on Klaus. With a powerful blow, Danny sent Klaus crashing to the ground while Troy delivered the finishing shot. As the dust settled, the remaining vampires fled, their leader defeated. The end.